It was a big weekend for West Virginia Mountaineer sports. Not only did they have the spring showcase for football, they also had a couple nice wins in recruiting, one in football and one in men's basketball. We're going to talk about both of those wins, and we're going to do that right after this word from one of my channel sponsors. Since 1931, the attorneys at Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident, are fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top-shelf college football news and analysis around the West Virginia Mountaineers, the Big 12, and sometimes a little conference realignment. For those who are new here, I'm your host, Couz. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let's dive right in. First, we're going to talk about a big recruiting win on the football side for West Virginia this weekend. We're talking about a legacy recruit for the class of 2026. Now, this is obviously just a verbal commitment. We all know how this thing can change. We all know that this young man could end up flipping and changing his mind, especially when you look at the schools that are recruiting him. He has a lot of big-time schools, a lot of blue blood programs recruiting him. But his name is Jylon Hughley, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. But he's a 6'2" dual-threat quarterback from West Palm Beach, Florida. Like I mentioned, he's a class of 2026 recruit. I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and do a screen share here, and we'll take a look at it. But when you look at Hughley, and by the way, this is over at my website, wvsportschat.com, written by Braxton Fuller and myself. It says it's Saturday and the spring showcase is about to start in a few hours. As Mountaineer fans are getting ready for the event, 2026 three-star, borderline four-star QB, Jylon Hughley, has committed to WVU football. He chose Morgantown over 21 other universities, including Penn State, Miami, FSU, Pitt, and Virginia Tech. The West Palm Beach native is also the nephew of former WVU player and coach, Juwan Sider, who's now the running backs coach at Notre Dame. The Cardinal Newman High School product threw for over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns during his junior season and led his team to the Class 1A state championship game. The 6'2" quarterback also ran the ball 87 times for 835 yards and another 10 touchdowns. This is a massive get for Rich Rod and the staff as they're preparing for summer camps to start. Hughley is a dual-threat quarterback that can absolutely zip the ball into tight windows and can do as much damage with his legs. Now, as you see here, this is Jylon Hughley's commitment post on X. It says 100,000% committed, Country Roads. Hashtag AGTG for all glory to God, real Coach Rod, at Coach T. Trickett, at Rhett_Rod, and at Coach Pat White. This is someone that this West Virginia staff has been on really. I mean, I saw pics of him being recruited by Blaine Stewart. So they've been on this young man for quite a while now. Like I mentioned, he's a legacy recruit, nephew of Juwan Sider. He also had other family members who attended WVU. Now, what's ironic about this is this commitment occurred on the same day that another 2026 QB, Legend Bay, was visiting Morgantown. Now, most fans, including myself, thought that when we saw Coach Trickett put out the Maverick Top Gun meme that he likes to use, I assumed that Bay had committed on his visit, maybe a silent commit or something. But then a few hours later, boom, we find out that it was Hughley. Now, from what I'm hearing and from what the 24/7 guys are saying over there, they think that Legend Bay is still a take in the class, that Coach Rod and the staff may actually take two quarterbacks in the 2026 class. Now, it's yet to be determined if, will both of those guys be willing to come in and compete for a spot? Who knows? But nonetheless, they're both very talented. Legend Bay, probably more talented on the running side, whereas Jylon Hughley, from the little bit of tape I watched, looks like he might be a better thrower, at least at this stage of his career. Legend Bay being recruited more as an athlete by most schools, Jylon Hughley being recruited as a quarterback. And when you watch highlights, he's a very good thrower of the football. He can fit the ball in the tight windows, as Braxton mentioned in the article. He throws a really nice deep ball, a very catchable ball. And he's 6'2", whereas Legend Bay is only like 5'10". that does give him a little bit of an advantage, especially in the passing game. He'll be able to see over the line a little easier, be able to find his receivers downfield a little easier. And then you add in the fact that, yes, he is a dual threat guy. Now, he's not going to have the breakaway speed as of a Legend Bay, but he is good enough and fast enough to excel in Rich Rod's offense. This is a very, very good pickup for the 26 class, assuming he signs and stays on board with the Mountaineers. He could be the next in line of great Mountaineer or of great Rich Rod quarterbacks and great Mountaineer quarterbacks, for that matter, that we've seen in Morgantown. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about the pickup of Jylon Hughley. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but I want to hear your thoughts about this pickup. And do you still want to see them go after Legend Bay, or would you rather them only take one quarterback in the 2026 class? I want to hear your thoughts. Hey, do me a favor. Go check out my good friends over at Appalachia Digital. If you need a brand new website for your small business, or if you're just looking to get found easier on Google, go check out appalachiadigital.com/Couz. These are the fine folks who designed my brand new website over at wvsportschat.com. They did a fantastic job. I love their work. I think you will too. So go check them out. appalachiadigital.com/Couz. Let them know Couz sent you. I also want to thank them for supporting my work here at Couz's Corner and at Hoops from the Hills. Now let's get back to the show. Let's switch gears a minute and go over to a little bit of basketball talk. And let's talk about the pickup. Now, this one is going to be a more immediate. This is actually a transfer portal pickup by Ross Hodge and his staff. It's actually the first one of the Ross Hodge era in Morgantown. But we're talking about none other than Harlan Obioha. And I, again, struggling with the name. Harlan Obioha. He's a 7-foot transfer from UNC-Wilmington. And again, there's an article over at my website. Let's go ahead and take a look at it together. WVU basketball gets first transfer portal pickup of the Ross Hodge era. Per Pete Thamel of ESPN, the West Virginia men's basketball program has landed a commitment from 7-footer Harlan Obioha. The transfer from UNC-Wilmington averaged 9.2 points and 6 rebounds per game for the Seahawks in 2024-2025. There you see Pete Thamel's post. His agents, Noah Reisenfeld and Addy Von Gontard, reached out to Pete Thamel. Says he averaged 9.6.2 rebounds for UNC-Wilmington this year and was a sought-after big man in the portal. Article goes on to say the Hoxie, Kansas native spent the first 2 years of his career with Niagara, where he put up 2.9 and 10.3 points per game in respective seasons. He also averaged nearly 8 rebounds per game in 23-24 with the Purple Eagles. He chose the Mountaineers over other Power 4 programs such as Rutgers, Mississippi State, and Wake Forest. Wichita State is another program who was showing interest based on what I've read in research. This is the first transfer commit for new Mountaineer coach Ross Hodge and fills a much-needed position on the interior for the WVU basketball squad. Along with his size and ability to rebound the basketball, Obioha provides a solid inside scoring presence. This is proven by his 63.9% field goal percentage last season. He can also help on the defensive end by being a presence around the rim. He blocked 1.2 shots per game for UNC-Wilmington during the 24-25 campaign. The 280-pound big man was a two-sport star athlete at Hoxie High School, where he also excelled at football. He was once listed by rivals as a 3-star offensive tackle prospect in the 2021 class. Obioha has 1 year of eligibility remaining. So this is a huge pickup, pun intended, a huge pickup for the Mountaineers and Coach Ross Hodge. One of the biggest weaknesses on this team this past season under Darren DeVries was the lack of a true big. Now, and Obioha, yes, they had Eduardo Andre, but Eduardo Andre, there were many times when West Virginia faced a team who had a big-bodied big, someone who was big and physical, that Andre and even Monty Hansberry at times were getting pushed around down there. Obioha gives them a big body. Not only is he tall, he's 280 pounds, came out of high school at about 300. Like I said, he was an offensive tackle recruit. He's a big body. Going to be harder to push around. Hard to push around a 300-pound man. And he's 7 foot tall, and he's based on the fact that he was a 2-sport star. That shows he's a good athlete. He excelled at UNC-Wilmington. He gives them a good scoring threat around the basket. We all know Ross Hodge also is big on defense. This is a good way, a good starting point for them to get started in the transfer portal for the 2025 season, the 25-26 season. And big men are usually harder to come by in the portal But Ross Hodge gets one right off the get-go, right off the bat, number one. I think this is a big pickup. Now, I haven't seen this young man play a ton of ball because I didn't follow UNC-Wilmington, but when you look at his stats, when you look at his track record, the fact he's started a huge chunk of games in his career, both at Niagara and at UNC-Wilmington. He played on an NCAA tournament team, so he has experience in that regard, and was highly sought after. You look at the teams that were after him. I think Texas even had conversations with this young man. So you've got, good Power 4 programs that were going after this man in the portal. West Virginia was able to lock him down, keep him, or get him to West Virginia, despite him not even coming on a visit. And they picked it. This is a quiet period right now. They were able to get this commitment without him even coming on a visit. And I think that says a lot for Ross Hodge, the staff, and the folks that are out there recruiting over the phones and over Zoom calls for the Mountaineer program. And it maybe, I don't know what it means, but maybe it shows that the NIL situation is also pretty decent in Morgantown. We'll see. Hopefully they can go out and also get some guards. Would like to see him get a really good point guard. There's word that one of the top players from North Texas may also end up following Ross Hodge, another big man, a 6'9", forward with length, and his name has completely left my brain. I'm having a brain fart, but nonetheless, you get the point. If he commits, I'll do a video on him. But I think this is a big move. It's a great starting point. A 7-footer. West Virginia hasn't had a lot of 7-footers throughout their history. It definitely hasn't had a whole lot of 7-footers that have contributed. I think Harlan Obioha will contribute in year one, in his only year, I should say, in Morgantown. May even be a starter for this Mountaineer team. But we'll see how it all plays out. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Let me know what you think about our Harlan Obioha as a pickup for Coach Ross Hodge and this staff and this basketball program. I want to also give a shout out to my VIP channel members of this episode. One of the perks of being a VIP member, if you want to join all of these random shout outs, hit the join button below or hit the join button over at my channel homepage if you want to become a member. The VIP member shout outs of this episode are Kent Fultz, T Jinx 048, Cody Cutright, H Bar Farkle, and Caleb Davis. Thank you all for being paid members. I told you how to do that. If you want to support my channel and you aren't able to be a paid member, you can help me for free. All you have to do is hit the thumbs up button on this video if you liked it. Share it with your family and friends who like West Virginia Mountaineer sports. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and make sure your notifications are on so you'll be notified of future videos and future live streams on the rare occasion I do one. Haven't been able to do a ton of lives lately. Also want to give another shout out to my sponsors, Appalachia Digital and Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner Attorneys at Law. There's a video right here in the corner of your screen that YouTube thinks you might like. There's also a basketball video over here that you may like too. I hope the rest of your day's top shelf. Thanks for tuning into the show. God bless, and Q Country Roads.